Let us take a look at tonight's Bell South starting lineups. First for the Chattanooga Mocs. Up front, Isaac Connor, David Phillips, Francisco Colon, and their backcourt of Wes Moore. He's a holdover from that good ball club of last year, and the transfer from Miami, Chuck Barker. UT Chattanooga, of course, coached in his first year by Henry Dickerson. Now for the North Carolina Tar Heels, All-American Antoine Jamison, Ademola Okalaja, and Mokhtar Jai up front. Vince Carter, Ed Cota in the backcourt. A six-man starting rotation for Bill Guthridge in his first year as coach of the Tar Heels. And it's Shammond Williams' turn not to get the starting call.
Bill Guthridge went to his players and said, look, we have 6 starters. I count all of you as starters. How should we handle it? And they jointly decided that they would do it by alphabetical order. So each player in order will take a seat. It's Shammond Williams' turn. I think Antoine Jamison's turn should always be last and keep rotating last and never be got up. You got to start him every game.
Jay, we were surprised at the closeness, quite frankly, of Game 1. Could we see a replay here in Game 2?
I think it's much less likely, frankly, but if Tennessee Chattanooga is able to control tempo, they've got a shot at it because North Carolina's a tired basketball team. There's no question about it. They've been to Alaska. They won the Great Alaska Shootout. They just went to Chicago, played a tough game against Louisville in the Grade 8. There's no question these young men are fatigued, but they're also veteran basketball players. They've played through fatigue before, so that shouldn't be as much of a factor as one might think. But if they are tired, that's really the shot that Chattanooga's got.
You saw the two coaches. There's the first-year man, Bill Guthridge. Let's take a look at a quote of Bill's from the Charlotte Observer. Dean Smith cannot be replaced. It'll be up to the entire coaching staff, the players to join me in making up for his loss. A loss, a huge one. But you'd never know it from the record of this second-ranked club coming in. As Jay said, they've played seemingly all over the world since the season started, and they've run off 7 wins in as many tries, a number of them against top 25 basketball teams. Bill Guthridge appears to be very relaxed, and I think Henry Dickerson realizes the task facing he and his ball club tonight.
Well, Henry Dickerson has been on the Chattanooga sideline for a long time. He recruited all of these players as an assistant to Mac McCarthy. He knows this system. It has been a seamless transition at Chattanooga, and it's certainly been a seamless transition at North Carolina. Bill Guthridge sat on the sidelines with Dean Smith for 30 of his 60 years in life. He knows that system inside and out, has done a tremendous job with this team.
We are right now waiting out a delay. A couple of the members of the maintenance crew here in the Charlotte Coliseum, you're looking at one of those gentlemen right now, have been working diligently for the last 5 or so minutes, removing some remnants of blood on the floor here at the Charlotte Coliseum. They are precisely inspecting every suspicious spot before we get this ball game underway, and that is the reason for the delay. While the Tar Heels are 7-0, second ranked in the nation, the Mocs of Chattanooga have won 4 of 5 games under Henry Dickerson. And we mentioned at the top what a great run this school had last year. They go 24-11. They win the Southern Conference tournament. They come here in the Southeast Regional and run off 2 straight wins over clubs from Georgia and Illinois. And then Mac McCarthy abruptly resigns and goes to VCU as a #1 assistant to Sonny Allen, with the understanding that he will ascend to the top spot after this season.
Really a remarkable season for Chattanooga last year. You mentioned that they came into this very building, the Charlotte Coliseum. They beat Tubby Smith's Georgia team, and then after they beat Georgia, as they were coming into the locker room, they could hear in the next locker room Illinois whooping it up, saying, we're going to Birmingham, basically saying that after we win this game, the next one's going to be a gimme. Then they came out and they really tanned that team from Illinois, and Lon Kruger took a lot of heat over his team's behavior in the locker room. They very easily could have gotten the Final 8. They almost beat Providence in Birmingham. Just a tremendous year for Chattanooga. You know, representatives from the university were talking a little bit earlier today. In reaching the Sweet 16, the attention that they got nationwide, had they gone out to buy that kind of advertising, would have cost them over $22 million.
Amazing. And you mentioned Johnny Taylor earlier. He was a #1 draft pick of the Orlando Magic. I said Sonny Allen. I meant Sonny Smith, the coach at Virginia Commonwealth, and that's who Mac McCarthy is working under right now. And they're still working to get the blood off the floor. Apparently they've done it. Our officials here in game #2, Duke Edsel, Brian Kersey, and Vinnie Allen. Jeff, we saw a great first game, pal, and you're up there in the catbird seat. How about this one?
Well, this ought to be interesting, but to add insult to Virginia Tech's loss, one of their cheerleaders cut her foot. And that's why we've been so delayed. They had to cart her off and do some medics to her, but that's exactly why we've had the delay. But it's time to tip now. The blood's off, at least for now.
And we're ready to go. Francisco Colon jump center against Vince Carter. And the Tar Heels get the opening tip. Ed Cota, who runs the offense at the point, handles and plays to Antoine Jamison. That's Carter. Defense by Phillips, and now cross court for the jumper by Okalaja, and he knocks in a three as the Tar Heels come out of the gate quickly.
Chattanooga in a 2-3 zone on ball reversal. Okalaja wide open. Coming into this game, Ademola Okalaja was 2 of his last 18. He's got to feel good about knocking down his first one.
Wes Moore handles. He's had a 33-point game so far this season. Cotter and now Barker. Barker has really been impressive, and he drags his pivot foot. And a turnover for the Mocs, and the Tar Heels leading 3-0, get it right back.
Chuck Barker can't feel too good about looking in front of him and seeing Vince Carter defending against him. Carter, always known for his offense, has turned himself into a defensive stopper, has graded out #1 on Carolina's defensive charts the last 4 games.
Okalaja draws more attention after hitting the opening three. Carter plays to Cota, whip it inside off the hands of Mokhtar Jai, out of bounds. Tar Heels turn it back to the Mocs. 3-0 North Carolina, 50 seconds into this one. And Wes Moore, the holdover from last year's 24-11 club. Bounce feeds it high to Francisco Colon, gives it back to Moore. 5 feet out of the left pocket and out of Cotter. Checked by Okalaja. Ball deflected and stolen by Cota for North Carolina.
Cota's got such great hands, and what an amazing passer.
They look down low for the All-American Antoine Jamison. He's being played by Colon. Here's a drive by Carter, the dish off, and it goes off of Jamison's hands and out of bounds.
Vince Carter pointing to his chest as he runs down the court as to say, my fault. He was a little bit out of control going into the lane. Looked like he got off on the wrong foot before he threw a bit of an awkward pass to Jamison.
Back come the Mocs. Colon, baseline left. Connor plays to Phillips. Jumper long by Phillips and rebounded by North Carolina's Jamison, and a quick outlet pass to Okalaja.
Jamison goes after everything with 2 hands. Never see a one-handed rebound with him.
There's the inside touch by the 6'9" junior out of Providence High School right here in Charlotte.
And he plays well in this building.
Averaging over 23 points a game in all the games that he's played here, counting, of course, this event held in its 10th year, and of course the ACC tournament.
Well, he plays well everywhere, though. I guess it's no exception that he plays well here.
Cota on the stop and go, shoveled it up, no good, but he's checked and fouled, and Barker may have committed the foul, or possibly Colon.
I'm going to give it to Barker. Ed Cota is the key to this offense. He gets the ball down in transition. He's a great passer, not only getting the ball in those alley-oop dunks to Vince Carter, but also penetrating in the lane where he likes to launch up that running jumper he calls the teardrop.
Cota's been great from the free throw line. He's now 12 for 13 for the season. North Carolina leading 4-0, and now Shammond Williams checks in, and Vince Carter goes to the Tar Heels bench.
Shammond Williams was outstanding in the grade 8 against Louisville. He had 22 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals.
He was big also in the second half of the championship game up in Alaska, when North Carolina had to fend off a fine Purdue team, and largely due to a great second half of play by Shammond Williams up in Anchorage.
A self-made player, a little bit like Melvin Watson, hits big shots.
7-0 Tar Heels. Out of the left pocket, the three on the way, and good.
He's the guy that Chattanooga's got to get involved in the offense early. Barker, a transfer from Miami's got Big East experience.
Trailing on the play, and a routine layout by Antoine Jamison, his second field goal. North Carolina by 6 at 9-3 with 17 minutes remaining in the first half.
The only way you can have any chance in defending against Antoine Jamison, you got to beat him down court, which is tough to do. But then you've got to meet him early, give him a bump at the free throw line, get him to change his path to the basket.
Long three by Connor misfires, rebounded by Okalaja, looking to give it up, and now will bring it up himself before kicking it off to Shammond Williams. Okalaja drives, trying to dish it off, and does, and the lay-in good by Jamison.
How about that, Marty? The quick hands and how quickly he got that ball up and off the glass. Nobody else on the floor had even set themselves to jump as he was laying it in.
Tar Heels jump out in front by 8 now at 11-3, and a 3 by Cologne finds the bottom of the net.
If Francisco Colon can step out and hit that shot, he can open things up in the middle because Jai is going to have to respect it.
The junior out of Arecibo, Puerto Rico, drops down the 3 shot, and now the Tar Heels back on the attack. Cota pinned to the baseline, gets it off to Shimon Williams, and he throws it right into the hands of Wes Moore. He drives on Okalaja, puts it up and in.
That's a nice play by Wes Moore in transition to go off at 2 feet. He protected himself, almost drew the foul from Okalaja.
A 5-0 run by Chattanooga gets him to within 3. Under 16 to go in the half. Ed Cota off to Okalaja, pressured defensively by Phillips. Cota looking low. And there's Jamison flashing across the lane. He misses a turnaround, and the ball picked up by Wes Moore of Chattanooga.
Wes Moore was a walk-on in this program. Came in, walked into the coach's office and said, "Coach, I'd like to play basketball." They thought they'd redshirt him, but they say his heart is too big.
Malone shooting high off the glass. Rebound snatched off by Jamison. And now Shimon Williams and company quickly back on the offense. Okalaja thought about the 3. Cross courts Dakota. Ball tipped away, but picked up by Shimon Williams.
Need a pass fake every once in a while. Chattanooga doing a good job of getting their hands in passing lanes and jumping out.
There's Jamison. He's fouled. And that'll be a shooting foul. He'll be on the line for a couple of shots.
Antoine Jamison is absolutely impossible to match up with. I don't make any secret about it. He's my favorite player in the country. He's just a joy to watch. Has an exuberant style on the court. And they say that you are truly great when you don't remind anyone of anyone. And that is the case with Antoine Jamison. I mean, there's nobody you can liken him to. He's a unique basketball player.
Tar Heels make a couple of substitutions. Brad Frederick is in. Vince Carter has come back off the bench. Jamison has just scored his 7th point. And we'll have still another coming. Brendan Haywood, the freshman out of Greensboro, about to come for North Carolina. And with that second hit time out on the floor, we'll be back with more of the Harris Teeter Pepsi Challenge right after this message from Pepsi.
Let's take a look at Antoine Jamison running the court. He is so difficult to guard because he gets down the court so well and picks his spots. But somebody from Chattanooga has to get up and bump him. What a great player, Antoine Jamison.
Here's a quote from Bill Guthridge out of the Charlotte Observer. Antoine has unique rebounding and scoring ability. He has an amazing sense of where he is around the basket. That is succinctly put.
And that was a great example of it in that last replay. And Antoine Jamison right now has 8 points. If he continues on this pace, he'll finish with 64.
13-8. Tar Heels in front. Isaac Connor holds the ball against the defensive Vince Carter.
Brad Frederick into the ballgame for North Carolina. Guthridge likes him because he doesn't make mistakes.
Here's David Phillips with a 3. The long rebound run down by Connor, and they'll recycle the offense. Barker against Frederick. Pulls up for the jump shot and knocks it down.
Barker is a good scorer, a bit undersized, but not afraid to put up shots. And like we talked about at the top of the broadcast, he is going to have to get open for shots because he's one of the only guys that can knock them down on a consistent basis.
Jai cross courts to Frederick, left open for the 3, way long. Rebounded by David Phillips. Brad's dad, Bob Frederick, the athletic director at Kansas, is in the building tonight. 13:50 to go in the first half. The Mocs only 3 down and with the ball. That's David Phillips giving it off to Chuck Barker. He's come out of the gate with a quick 5. Here's Connor driving into the land of the Giants. A nice feed inside, but quick reaction by Jai to reject the David Phillips reverse layup.
Last year that would have been a foul on Maktar Jai, but this year he is playing great defense without fouling, playing with a lot of confidence both offensively and defensively.
He gives it back to Carter. And outside to Shimon Williams. Okalaja and Cota will return at the next opportunity for the men of Bill Guthridge. A little bit long by Williams. Frederick battling for the rebound with Phillips. Jump ball situation. Possession arrow points toward the other end and Chattanooga. And now Jamison and Cota and Okalaja come back in. as fresh bodies off the North Carolina bench.
Some observers have said that Bill Guthridge needs to give out some more playing time to those on his bench to try to develop depth, because he's been going with that super six he's got. But really what Bill Guthridge has said all along is, I don't give playing time away. You have to earn it at North Carolina. You've got to respect that.
Yep. And you had to determine who was going to come out to allow Okalaja as the third newcomer to return, and Brendan Haywood sits down.
Sometimes it takes time to work out that alphabetical order thing.
Under 13 to go in the half, a three-point ball game. Tar Heels 13, Mocs 10. Working inside Cologne, lost it, got it back, jump hook, no good. Whistle, foul called inside, and it's going to be against Chattanooga.
Isaac Connor will get the foul, a little push off.
If it is, it's his second, and the 13th foul against the Mocs. So Okalaja, Carter, Cota, Shammond Williams, and Antoine Jameson comprise the North Carolina lineup at the moment.
It's a pretty darn good lineup. Every guy on the court can score.
Not too bad. Cota wanted the baseline, couldn't get it from Connor. Picks up his dribble, cross courts to Williams, 15-footer on the way, no good. Phillips climbs a ladder for the rebound. So the Mocs still trail by only 3 with 12:20 to go in the half. 13-10 North Carolina. Neither team has scored in a while.
Well, this team, Chattanooga, they are the best team and have been over the years in the Southern Conference. They're used to winning. They're not going to be afraid of North Carolina.
There's the three that's just short by Cologne, off the hand of Okalaja, and a backcourt violation called against Chattanooga.
Duke Edsel right on top of that call when Wes Moore jumped back into the forecourt. Until you land, you bring the backcourt with you. So he would have had to land in the forecourt before he caught that ball. He did not. Great call by the official.
Each team has turned the ball over 3 times here in the first 8+ minutes. There's Vince Carter handling against the defensive Isaac Connor. Now has a notion to take it inside and does, and is fouled. And he'll be on the free throw line to shoot.
Vince Carter has really grown into not only an all-ACC caliber player, but an all-America caliber player. That's what people expected from him when he came into this program as a McDonald All-American from Daytona Beach, Florida. As a freshman, Vince Carter did not play very much, not because of any offensive deficiencies, but because he did not pay as much attention to defense as Dean Smith would have liked. But that has been remedied right now. Defense is really his forte. After the Purdue game, he asked to see the stat sheet, not for his own numbers, but to see the defensive job he did on Chad Austin.
That has got to produce a tremendous sense of satisfaction for a player who came in with a reputation that he had defensively.
Well, Vince Carter knows that if North Carolina is going to win a national championship, and they are among the 4 or 5 contenders with a legitimate shot to do that, he's got to play D.
Phillips has hammered the shot, almost trickled in, but falls away, and David Phillips will be on the free throw line as a result of the foul by Okalaja.
David Phillips is a sophomore for Henry Dickerson. Last year he started about 11 games for a veteran team, and it's because he's a steady blue-collar worker. And you can see right there, keeps his concentration as he draws the foul from Okalaja. Almost got that to go down. Stayed on the heel of the rim before rolling out.
Barely drew iron with the first free throw. He started 11 games in his freshman season last year, made the Southern Conference freshman team. Sophomore out of Wayne County High School in Monticello, Kentucky.
They play a little basketball in that state, I've heard.
Yeah, they do. And was short again on the free throw. So 2 misses by Phillips, and the Tar Heels remain up by 4. And they have the basketball back. Jameson passed by him, but Carter right there to pick it up. Good strong pass, a jump hook by Carter coming across the lane.
You were right on it, Marty. A good strong pass, a great catch by Carter, and then a strong move in the lane.
16-10, the Tar Heels have the lead, and Chattanooga continues to walk the ball up the floor. That's the kind of pace that they would really enjoy playing for the full 40 minutes here.
Only down 2 possessions. North Carolina in a 2-3 zone, switching some things up defensively out of their patented man-to-man.
Phillips traveled with the ball as he ran into traffic. We've got a timeout call. Tar Heels up 6 with 10:44 remaining in half 1. We'll be back.
Shammond Williams doing a nice job here, feeling the pressure, going against the grain, and delivering a pinpoint pass into Vince Carter, who was posting up inside. And Carter went up so strong. He can be so explosive.
Tar Heels shooting well early. They typically do that. They're 5 out of their first 9, while the Mocs are 4 for 12 from the floor. North Carolina trying to add to it. Good pass. Jamison there, and it's tipped up and in. Either Jai or Okalaja.
It was Okalaja.
So credit Okalaja with his second field goal. He has 5, and the Tar Heels have spurted out again to an 8-point advantage at 18-10.
North Carolina back to man-to-man. Malone's trying to draw Jai away from the basket.
Chuck Barker against Carter. Shot clock at 9, at 8, at 7. Barker fakes a jumper, now puts up the 3. Rebounded by Jai, and the quick kick out Dakota.
Good late pressure by Vince Carter on that shot.
Jai left open for 3. He's now 1 for 2 on the year in that department. Okalaja tried to deliver inside to Jai and had it batted away and picked up by David Phillips.
Hey, North Carolina really gets out well in passing lanes. They do a good job of discouraging passes and ball reversal. Boy, they really rebound well.
Freshman Otis Donald in the lineup misses a turnaround. UTC has now gone 5 minutes without scoring a basket. 18-10 the score. Okalaja for 3, and he's long with it. The follow by Carter is good.
Vince Carter and Antoine Jamison, 2 of the tougher players in the ACC to block out, because they don't quit when they get initial contact. Antoine Jamison very quick after a blockout, as is Carter, and you saw it on that play.
North Carolina's biggest lead. They're up 10 now with under 9 to go in the half. Barker, three-pointer rejected by Carter. Jai has it. One bounce and gives it off to Ed Cota. Not a good pass by Okalaja, looking for Jamison, and Phillips snuck along the baseline to pick it off. North Carolina turns it over again. That's the latest Tar Heels run in the last 5:15.
Vince Carter, Marty, is exhausted. He just gave Bill Guthridge the fist. He wants to come out, and Shammond Williams will replace him at the next dead ball. All the games that North Carolina's played is taking its toll.
Chattanooga keeps it. Last touch by a Tar Heel. 8:15 remaining in the first half. Tar Heels by 10, and Carter comes out of the lineup to be replaced by Shammond Williams.
Hands up.
Chattanooga doing a good job of controlling tempo. The problem is they're down 10 points. They've got to get some points on the board to put a little game pressure on North Carolina.
They've gone 6+ minutes without a basket. Good head fake by Phillips, but he was traveling. Got his man airborne, but he took a step in the process. Henry Dickerson not exactly in agreement with the call by Vinnie Allen, but it turns the ball back to North Carolina, and Cota controls with 7:53 remaining in the half.
Shammond Williams looks like his back's bothering him. He's been limping a little bit and holding the small of his back.
Barker loops it inside. Otis Donald shooting over Jai. No good. Rebounded by Jamison. North Carolina coming back, and the Tar Heels are in something of an offensive lull right now. And Cota can't end it, but he will go to the free throw line as a result of the Mocs foul.
Jai did a nice job on the other end of staying big inside without fouling. On the other end, you get an example of the penetrating ability of Ed Cota. When he gets the ball in the open court, he's got great vision. Always keeps his head up. That ball like a yo-yo on a string in his hand. And he knows how to deliver an assist. Now, last year, Marty, as a freshman, Ed Cota had 284 assists, I think, just one, or 234, one shy of Kenny Smith's single season record that he set in 1985. And I think he was 1 or 2 assists shy of tying a record set by Phil Ford for assists per game. And that was just in his first year.
Yeah, the old adage, what do you do for an encore after a year like that?
He was the first freshman to lead the ACC in assists since Kenny Anderson did in 1990. He's in some pretty select company when you talk about guards like that.
He's 3 out of 4 from the line. We've got a timeout. 7:32 to go in the half. Glad you're with us. Tar Heels lead by 11 at 21-10. We'll be announcing the Pepsi player of the game right after this game, so stay with us.
Well, Jay Billis touched on it earlier that Shammond Williams was rubbing his back a little bit. He has injured his back. He did it in Alaska on a dog sledding accident. He went out, fell off the sled, and so did Antoine Jamison. Jamison got drug around Alaska and was stranded for a while, but Shammond Williams did injure his back in a little dog sledding accident, and I'm sure the ride back on the plane didn't help him either. But he's still suited up.
That he is. Thank you, Jeff. It's Chattanooga with the ball. They're still trying to break this drought of 6+ minutes without scoring.
Can't believe Gravely fell for that old dog sled excuse.
Rebounded by Okalaja, and now the man in question, Shammond Williams.
This young man, Brendan Haywood, is going to be a fine player. Starting to get into the rotation. He's one of the players that has earned some playing time from head coach Bill Guthridge. He's just a freshman from Greensboro, North Carolina, played at Dudley High School, and he was a coveted high school player last year. I know Dave Odom at Wake Forest was all over this young man, trying to get him to play with the Demon Deacons.
Young man who has lost 20-some pounds since coming to Chapel Hill and getting into the weight room to get more svelte, if you will, and quicker up and down the floor. And as Jay said, they think he's got quite a future ahead of him at North Carolina.
Here comes the scramble.
Yep. Good job of beating it by Chattanooga. They get it across the timeline without any problem. Wes Moore playing out front to Cologne. He was charged, by the way, with the last Mox foul. He now has 2 on the night. His team trails by 13 with 6:40 to go in the first half. Here's Wes Moore, who's been shut out so far. Check that. He has 1 field goal, and he'll try another one just for 3, and he gets it to go.
Good looking shot by Wes Moore. The clock was really dwindling, and Barker got it to Moore, who was moving against the green. That's more of a European type play and very difficult to defend.
3 by Williams, no good. Ball loose inside, and it's out of bounds, and it belongs to Chattanooga. Brendan Haywood took a big swipe at it as he was going out of bounds, and it ricocheted off Vince Carter, and they enjoy the moment, although very briefly, as they go back to defense.
And I think Vince Carter's still enjoying the moment. He's holding on to his nose.
That last 3 by Moore, the first basket for Chattanooga in 7 minutes and 50 seconds. They're down by 10 at 23-13.
North Carolina back to the 2-3 zone, switching up defenses, try to keep Chattanooga a little bit off balance.
And the Mocs continue to play very, very deliberately. Wes Moore from an NBA 3-point shot. No good off of Haywood, off of Okalaja, and picked up by the Mocs, and they keep the ball.
I'm not sure that Bill Guthridge is that opposed to a little more of a slower pace to give his guys a break, but certainly they don't want to play defense after giving up a long shot and then an offensive rebound. Want to be 1 and out.
Malone to Barker. Has not been heard from for a while since the great start. Here's a baseline jumper by Cologne, rebounded by Carter, fouled as he was sandwiched in between Cologne and back of him, and Connor in front of him.
Michael Brooker into the ball game for North Carolina, number 11. Now he's going to take a rest, but he's one of the guys that Bill Guthridge has been hoping will come along in practice. He had reconstructive knee surgery last year and is back full speed.
Otis Donald was the man who the foul was called against, and here's Vince Carter on the free throw line looking for his 6th point.
Just short on that one a little bit. You could see when he let it go, looked a little bit awkward, and it was way short. Chattanooga's setting a lot of good screens, good movement offensively. And North Carolina's been with them every step of the way. Nothing easy for Chattanooga.
Phillips tried with a head fake, and Carter never left the floor. And now the loose ball. Jamison slaps it up ahead. Carter, count it.
What a play by Antoine Jamison. We saw it in the first game where B.J. Mackey got on the floor after a loose ball, and All-American giving up his body. There it was again with Antoine Jamison. And his teammate Vince Carter did the honors at the other end.
Bill Guthridge really loved it, boy. He bounced up off the Carolina bench, banging his hands together and pointing at Jamison, and you get the benefit of seeing it again.
I mean, these are just wonderful basketball plays. Look at that. Your All-American diving on the floor, and then Vince Carter on the other end. That's prime time.
Tar Heel foul called against Mokhtar Jai. Only the second Tar Heels team foul. North Carolina by 12. Chattanooga ball.
I think Bill Guthridge with his hand on Antoine Jamison's knee, whispering to him. I think he might have been saying, thank you for coming to North Carolina.
You think that?
I'd be saying it if I were him.
Here's Phillips with a jump shot. No. He gets his own rebound. He head fakes. Nobody goes for it, and now more outside.
Now, when you think about the select company that Antoine Jamison is in with the performance he's had over the last couple of years, it's really mind-boggling. In 2 years of play, he scored over 1,000 points, grabbed over 600 rebounds. Only one other person's ever done that in Carolina history, Billy Cunningham. Isn't that amazing?
He doesn't spend too much time on the bench. Jamison comes right back to replace Shammond Williams, who was charged with his first personal foul. Westmore will trigger, needs some help, finally finds it in Cologne, whip it outside to Chuck Barker. 4 minutes on the clock here in half number one. Tar Heels 25, Mocs 13.
Back to the 2-3 zone for North Carolina, extending out of it to try to put pressure on shooters.
Every time down the floor, they have utilized a tremendous amount of the shot clock with each possession. 9 on the clock now. Moore goes to the baseline in Cologne. He's double teamed. He gets a shot off and it bangs in.
Boy, and if that's the kind of basket Chattanooga's got to rely upon, that was a tough shot by Cologne right over the outstretched arms of Mokhtar Jai.
25-15, 10-point differential. Cross court Carter, bounce feed inside Cota, put it up, no good, foul. And Ed Cota will be on the free throw line for the Tar Heels as a result of the Chattanooga foul.
That's just textbook basketball. Great ball reversal. The defense not able to move as fast as the ball. And Ed Cota was wide open underneath.
We saw a lot of folks in foul trouble in game one. And now Otis Donald stands up and goes front and center with his third personal foul for Chattanooga.
We saw the skip pass by Ademola Okalaja, then the dump down underneath. And there's no way that that defense can recover to that kind of basketball.
Cota's now 5 out of 6. He extends the Tar Heels lead. Time on the floor, 3:17 to go. That man's team trails Bill Guthridge and the Heels 27-15. This telecast is a copyrighted presentation of Raycom Incorporated. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the video or audio portions of this program without prior written permission from Raycom is forbidden. Let's go to Jeff Gravely. Jeff.
Thanks a lot, Marty. Coming up at the half, we'll talk to that man right there signing an autograph, Virginia Tech coach Bobby Hussey, whose team came in here a young team, but gained some valuable experience in a one-point loss in game one. Back to you guys.
That they did. 74-73, the final first game. A win for the South Carolina Gamecocks, and it was a whale of a basketball game. Chattanooga trailing by 12 with exactly 3 remaining in the first half of game number 2. They have the ball. David Phillips off to Chuck Barker. Continues to be hounded by Vince Carter. Francisco Colon to kick back to Phillips. And everywhere they look, a Tar Heel defender is standing firmly in their path. Barker throws it back to Moore. He gets free and lets it go. Picked up by Jamison.
No offensive rebounding opportunities whatsoever for Chattanooga.
There it is. You're going to see at least 1 or 2 of them a game.
They are so good at that. They've got almost a sixth sense with each other to know when to throw that. Good eye contact. And when that ball goes up there, Vince Carter, doesn't matter how high it is, he can go get it.
29-15. The Tar Heels by 14 points. Heading toward the final 2 minutes of first half play. Cologne with a 3. And another Tar Heel rebound as the Mocs continue to get basically only 1 shot. The quick hands of the defense slapped the ball away.
Take a look again at this transition play. Head up again, Ed Cota. And behind the pack, flying high, is Vince Carter.
Carter way short on the 3. He makes a nice effort on the rebound. And Jai goes down, is tied up. And North Carolina will keep it. Kind of interesting front court scoring. The Tar Heels 13 points, 12 rebounds, as opposed to Tennessee Chattanooga's 5 points and 5 rebounds. That rather graphically indicates the problems that the Mocs have had with the Tar Heels front line, both offensively and defensively.
Chattanooga's having to work so hard to get a shot up that they're not always in good rebounding position. Here's another one.
This time it goes to Jamison. Cota first to Carter. Now Cota to Jamison.
North Carolina does such a great job of interior screening. That occupies the low men on that zone. They're worried about the ball coming in from the top. And then Antoine Jamison sneaks in from behind.
31-15. Jamison 10 points, 7 rebounds. Another All-American performance in the making here tonight. Jai off to Cota. Tar Heels look to expand the lead with 1:17 and running in the half. There's Okalaja flashing to the lane, coming back outside. The bank shot no good. He'll be on the free throw line.
Ademola Okalaja, in my opinion, is one of the best role players in America, and I say that with a great deal of respect. He could start for probably 9 out of 10 programs in this country. And he blends in so well with this team. He's second in almost every category on this North Carolina team except for scoring. And it shows how versatile he is. Bill Guthridge has said he's perhaps North Carolina's most valuable player. That Antoine Jamison is clearly their best player, but Okalaja might be their most valuable because of that versatility.
Germany's been very kind to the Tar Heels over the last years. First Henrik Rodel and now Ademola Okalaja.
Well, actually, Henrik Rodel was the one who recommended Okalaja and Dean Smith.
32-15 Tar Heels, just over a minute remaining in the half. Barker controlling for Henry Dickerson's Mocs. Now to Westmore, back to Barker, under a minute remaining.
No openings for Chattanooga.
7 seconds on the shot clock. Now 2, now 1, and did they beat it? No, they did not. That is just flat out fine defense.
It's great defense and great defensive intensity. If you're going to play defense for 35 full seconds, you've got to put out. And that's exactly what the Tar Heels have done all game long. And Bill Guthridge has to be proud of the effort with how fatigued his team is. I mean, that's a truism. This team is tired, but they're not playing tired.
Jamison, Shammond Williams, Jai, Okalaja, Cota, great ball movement. Gets it back to Jamison. Quick kick out to Shammond Williams. Baseline. Around it goes again. Cota drives. The look away was deflected and stops the clock with 8.1 seconds remaining in the half. And the Tar Heels will trigger again. Now a 20 has been called by Bill Guthridge. Tar Heels lead 32-15. They've continued to add to the lead, largely due to this 19-5 run that we've seen in the last 13-plus minutes.
And the 19-5 run hasn't come, Marty, from transition. It's come from their defense. They've done a great job of limiting Chattanooga to one shot, and then they've been efficient on the other end. Bill Guthridge burning his 22nd timeout to set up an out-of-bounds play this last 8.1 seconds of the first half. Look at the ball movement here, side to side. They're making Chattanooga work defensively, and there were some chances for some shots here, but what an unselfish basketball team. I mean, this is a team that likely could be in San Antonio. In fact, I've picked them to be in San Antonio as one of the Final Four.
Here's Jamison, lay it up and in. Great pass on the interior. He has a dozen, and that takes care of matters in half number 1. An undermanned Chattanooga basketball team facing the second-ranked team in the nation, Bill Guthridge's North Carolina Tar Heels. And the score here at the half, the Tar Heels commanding lead of 34-15. We'll be back with our halftime activities in Charlotte right after this.
Back to the table with Jay Billis and Marty Brenneman.
Thanks, Jeff. UNC outscored Chattanooga 21-5 in the last 14 minutes and 19 seconds of the first half. And you touched on the the Chattanooga scoring. They've had 3 players score 5 points apiece.
Well, it's amazing. They've been unable to find anything in the penetration. Everything's been from deep to the outside. When they've got the ball inside, it's been over the outstretched arms of the Carolina defender, and oftentimes they've had shots blocked. But every time North Carolina seems to have gotten the defensive rebound, they've just been phenomenal in this ballgame.
Jamison's been the man for the Tar Heels, 12.7 rebounds, followed closely by Vince Carter, 9 points and 3 rebounds. Tar Heels open the second half with Okulaja, Jamison, Vince Carter, Mokhtar Jai, and Ed Cota. And for the Mocs, it's Phillips and Moore in the backcourt, along with Isaac Connor and Francisco Colon and Chuck Parker. So both teams starting the same lineups that opened the game here at the outset of half number 2.
North Carolina in man-to-man.
Colon with a turnaround jump hook, got the roll. Nice start for the Mocs. And a 7-point night for Francisco Colon, and that's the number that they're trailing by, 34-17. The Tar Heels lead.
The key for Colon was getting that shot up quickly before Jai could get up to block it. Chattanooga in a 2-3 zone against North Carolina's half-court offense.
Carter goes inside to Jamison, put it up. No, rebounded by Phillips in traffic. Clear out to Westmore, and they'll try to take another bite out of a rather sizable deficit here.
Marty, certainly not surprised that North Carolina has shown their talent in this ballgame. What is impressive is how hard they've played.
Back come the Tar Heels. Ed Cota driving. Cota laying it up. No good. Follow shot fails. And Okulaja reaching over the left shoulder of Francisco Colon picks up his second foul.
Antoine Jamison didn't get that follow shot to go in, but you have to be impressed with how the big guy is able to run the court. He always puts himself in a position to be successful, and he does it with hard work. Never gives up.
2 fouls now on Okulaja, 34-17. 2 points have been scored so far here in the first minute and a half. They by the Mocs. The Tar Heels have so far been shut out.
Vince Carter did a nice job of fighting through those screens. Had a little shuffle cut, then a down screen. He got through each one of them.
Parker launches a 3. And Okulaja keeping it alive on the glass long enough to draw the foul from Isaac Connor.
Okulaja going high after that rebound. Ademola Okulaja, an outstanding athlete. One of North Carolina's best defenders. Oftentimes he is put on the opponent's best scorer when that scorer is a front court man. Look at the ball. So unselfish.
Jamison, soft, feathery touch off the baseline to knock it down. He has 14 points. And the Tar Heels again go up by 19, equaling their biggest lead, 36-17.
And Marty, that is such a difficult shot. Most big guys would have to get that all the way to the basket to have the touch to get that to go down. But from that little 4-foot area, Antoine Jamison's just about automatic.
Phillips looked inside, now drives, got his man airborne, and Jamison knocked it away, but a whistle from Brian Kersey stops play, and they're going to keep it at the Chattanooga end.
Antoine Jamison just stepped out of bounds. But let's take a look at the other end. Here's the pass inside to Jamison. This is what I'm talking about. Just outside the lane. That's a tough shot, but he makes it look easy. Got a great touch around the basket. Shoots the ball on the way up. I have never seen a guy with more active legs at 6'8".
Shammond Williams is back to the Tar Heel lineup, replacing Vince Carter. And long 3 on the way, no good by Connor. Battle rattles around, picked off by Shammond Williams, and he'll bring it out of the backcourt. Carolina leading 36-17, 17 and a half to go in the game. Mokhtar Jai backs off on the dribble, gives to Cota a rare shot from the point guard. Too long, follow is up and good. On the other side by Okulaja.
Well, it was a rare shot from Ed Cota because he's a player that thinks pass first and shot second. But on this young season, he's shooting over 60% from the field.
21-point Tar Heels lead. Baseline, Colon rejected with emphasis by Antoine Jamison, and again the All-American diving out of bounds to try and save the basketball.
Isn't that amazing? I'm shaking my head in amazement at this young man. He's ahead 21 points. He's an All-American, and he's diving out of bounds, putting his body on the line. Take a look at this block. The nice pass to Colon. Colon squares his body, and from behind, Jamison knocks it away, almost controls it, and he's at the feet of Henry Dickerson.
Back to live action. Westmore off to Barker in the right corner. Cologne ball tipped, but Barker gets it, dribbles out of trouble.
North Carolina does a great job of switching defenses.
And the long three fails as the shot clock was winding down, and the Tar Heels, the recipient of a foul by Cologne, and that's his third.
Well, Chattanooga not doing a good job of recognizing the time on the clock as the ball was being inbounded. Everybody's got to be on the same page. Got to call out how much time's up there so everyone knows you got to get up shot quickly.
Here's Jai. He wants to take a shot. No, he dishes it off to Jamison, who is too far underneath. Gives it right back to Jai. Misses long. Jamison finds open inside Elijah.
Are you kidding me? Just relentless going after the ball, and then has the presence of mind to dump it down low.
40-17 as the ball movement at the offensive end continues to be out of sight for the Tar Heels. 16-10 remaining, in North Carolina in the process of blowing this one wide open. Moore coming off the screen and hits a much-needed three for his team.
Westmore is not going to give up. He is a very gritty player.
His second three-point goal of the night. And here's Jai with a soft bank shot, no good. The tip, no good. The ball loose and out of bounds, and the Tar Heels will keep it. So a timeout on the floor, 15:46 to go in the game. North Carolina with a whopping 20-point advantage at 40-20.
We are back at the Charlotte Coliseum, North Carolina by 20. Let's take a look at Antoine Jamison and how hard he works, getting a push in the back, still goes after the ball with both hands, and has the presence of mind to see an open teammate for an easy basket. You know, you can say all you want to about players have God-given ability, but this player blends God-given ability with a lot of hard work.
He's on the bench right now, and believe it or not, he already has a double-double working, 14 points and 10 rebounds as he gets a much-needed rest. Cota and Williams and Carter and Jai and Elijah for the Tar Heels. 15:30 remaining. They lead by 20. Shammond Williams losing his man. Kicks it off inside. The follow slam by Carter, but it will not count. Another fine pass on the interior by North Carolina results in the fourth personal foul tonight by Francisco Cologne.
Take a look at Bill Guthridge, the longtime assistant of Dean Smith, who's moved over to the head spot. And Henry Dickerson, who is an outstanding player in his own right, played for the Detroit Pistons and the Atlanta Hawks in the NBA. Also played professionally in Israel.
Cota, who came into this game having made 11 out of 12 free throws, working on another fine night. He's 6 out of 7 to go with 4 assists.
Ed Cota really stepped up his game late last year when he became a starter and was the driving force, I think, in getting North Carolina to the Final Four. And they came within a hair of beating Arizona, and they would have taken on Kentucky.
Oh, how about that? Incredible display of unselfish basketball.
Well, they've got eyes in the back of that. They know each other so well. This team comes into this building with a swagger, knowing that they can beat anybody in the country.
The lead is ballooned to 24.
Now, North Carolina may lose a couple games along the way, but at the end of the season, if they keep everybody healthy, there's not a team out there that they can't beat and beat soundly.
They call goaltending on Jai. Credit the field goal to Cologne. Here's the last play.
Here's Shammond Williams giving up the pass to Cota instead of shooting it, which he certainly could have done. I mean, how do you get that kind of timing? That's an amazing play.
44-22. Tar Heels back with the ball after the goaltend called against Jai awards Chattanooga a basket. Shammond Williams plays it inside to Jai, and he misses. The tip-up is good. Jamison with a tip-in. So Jamison with 16 points now, and the Tar Heels lead 46-22 with 14 minutes and 15 seconds remaining.
So quick off of his feet. North Carolina again back into the 2-3 zone, switching defenses. Bill Guthridge wants to get back to more of a pressure defense.
Cologne, a good cut to the basket.
Beautiful touch pass in the corner.
46-24. Shammond Williams into Jamison. There's a turnaround jump hook. He's fouled Jay, I got to ask the question, when the time comes, whenever that might be, whether it be next year or whether he comes back for a 4th year and then goes to the NBA, how successful is he going to be playing that type of inside game in the NBA?
I think he'll be extraordinarily successful. He's still going to have the same success running the court that he has in the college game. He has developed a reliable turnaround jump shot. He's got all the moves inside. He's working on his shot out on the perimeter. One thing he needs to work on is his free throw shooting, because he does go to the line so much. If he can jack his percentage up to around 80-85%, he becomes an incredible weapon. And to think with 14 minutes to go in this game, he's already got 17 points and 11 rebounds. And this guy, with the talent he's got, brings his lunch pail and his hard hat into the gym every single day.
He made them both. He's got 18. It's a 48-24 game now.
You know, Marty, you mentioned the NBA, and for selfish reasons, I hope that Antoine Jamison sticks around. Certainly the money's hard to turn down, but I want to see him play as a senior. He's such a great player.
Shammond Williams gave it right back to Carter, and he's fouled. You talk about eyes in the back of your head. That's another example.
And what it's really an example of, Marty, is how well these players know each other. Bobby Hussey touched on it at halftime with Jeff Gravely. They've played together for so long. They know each other so well. Shammond Williams got to the middle of the court, and he actually had to pass in front of Vince Carter, so he knew where Carter was all the time. And he also knows the capabilities of Vince Carter, that he's able to handle that kind of pass.
10th point of the night for Carter. Substitutions for Chattanooga. Lincoln Walters, the man who the foul was called against. Billy Hutchins is also in the Mocs lineup, and Carter makes it 2 for 2.
Billy Hutchins was a terrific scorer in high school and was actually a great running back. Both Alabama and Auburn recruited him to play football.
Idris Harper, a freshman out of Chattanooga, is also in the lineup. Here's Donald in heavy traffic, and the ball knocked away from Brendan Haywood and picked up by Lincoln Walters, and they'll reset the offense as he brings it outside. Heading toward the final 13 minutes of play, Tar Heels lead by 26 at 50-24. Quick pass off to Hutchins to beat the 5 count, and a traveling violation will give it right back to the Tar Heels.
Due to the pressure of Ademola Okulaja, also Shammond Williams doing a nice job reaching in from behind.
8 times the Mocs have turned it over. Tar Heels try to take advantage, and an errant pass intended for Jamison, picked off by Connor, and at the other end the jump shot up and no good. Saved by Carter, but run down by the Mocs and Harper. And now Connor takes it inside, and he puts it up, and he's fouled by either Okulaja or Brendan Haywood.
Haywood, as he gets more experience, will just move from side to side a little bit better to get after that shot. He is so big inside, oftentimes he doesn't have to bring down that arm toward the shooter in order to block a shot. Got to say straight up and down, because as every big guy knows, your moves are magnified out on that court.
Wes Moore back in the lineup for Chattanooga. He's not had much of an opportunity to get a rest on the bench in this one, but he got a brief one before coming back. Connor will have one more coming. Isaac Connor, a junior out of Powell, Tennessee, one of 3 players on this Chattanooga club that played at Powell High School, and an academic All-American, on the All-Academic team, I should say, in the Southern Conference.
Chattanooga is going to be right in the thick of things in that Southern Conference, which is a very good conference.
Yeah.
Davidson under Bob McKillop having a terrific start. They gave Duke a very good game and just gave Wake Forest a great game as well.
Pass was short, forcing Jamison to reach over the shoulder of Connor, and as a result commit his first foul.
Chattanooga's already had one win against a conference opponent. They beat Marshall earlier this season. Francisco Colon had 16 points and 10 rebounds in that game. And as everybody knows who knows the Southern Conference, Marshall is a difficult opponent. Billy Donovan just left there to go to Florida and left the cupboard stocked.
50-26 score out of the right pocket. The 3-pointer on the way and no good. The rebound controlled by Carter. He kicks it outside Dakota. He beats Moore. And now wants a baseline but can't get it, and they trap him. Off it goes to Brad Frederick, who's just come back in for North Carolina, and now Dakota outside.
Cota's amazing in how he can feel the pressure and adjust himself.
Follow shot by Carter, no good. Ball continues loose, out of bounds. Tar Heels keep it. North Carolina trying to extend a Charlotte winning streak here to 12 in a row. They've won 11 straight, counting this particular event and the ACC tournament. There's a violation off the ball spotted by Brian Kersey, and it'll be a foul against Chattanooga. And they've got a timeout on the floor. 1 second shy of 12 remaining in this one. The Tar Heels in command with a 24-point lead and will return.
Welcome back to the Charlotte Coliseum. I'm Jeff Bradley. North Carolina leads 50-26, thanks in part to that man, Antoine Jamison, who might be our Pepsi player of the game at the end of the game. We'll name it at the end of the game. I had a chance to speak with Dave Twardzik, who used to be the director of player personnel for the Hornets. He's one of the many 18 NBA scouts who are here. He now scouts for the Nuggets. I asked him, what are Antoine Jamison's prospects for the pros? He said, well, right now, he'd be a top 5 pick, no matter if he couldn't hit a jumper from anywhere, just because of his instincts of basketball, which are hard to teach. Back to Jay and Marty.
Thanks, Jeff.
Well, everybody, don't tell Antoine Jamison that. Let's keep him on the college level another year because he's just so much fun to watch. And I say that for selfish reasons. I think that if kids are good enough and they want to go, the money's there that they should. But it's always nice to see him stay for 4 years as a fan.
There's Jamison after misses by Carter and by Jai. And the Tar Heels come up empty with this time down the floor, and back come the Mocs. 50-26, Tar Heels in front. Isaac Connor on the drive, and he gets his shot off under heavy duress. Cologne stripped by Williams and tried to save it and just stepped on the sideline.
Yeah, Marty, when you think about all the youngsters who have left college early the last few years, and most of them rightfully so because they're very talented and have a chance to make a great living in the NBA. But when you think about North Carolina last year, they would have had this team out on the floor now, plus Jeff McInnes, Jerry Stackhouse, and Rasheed Wallace. Now, can you imagine what they would have done to any team in the field of the tournament last year? It would have been a joke.
It would have been serious, without a question. We've had a player foul out prior to the timeout. Otis Donald picked up his 5th foul, and he goes out without a point tonight. The long 3 fails to go down. Carter has it. Now Cota. Now up ahead it goes to Shammond Williams. He pumps it up, no good.
The only shot that Chattanooga's been able to muster with any consistency without a ton of pressure has been the 27-footer. There's another one.
Yep. And this one again is long. And here's Williams.
And Henry Dickerson not happy with his team shot selection. Although it's difficult, he wants them to keep running good offense.
Ill-advised pass by Shammond Williams trying to get it inside to Jamison. Barker for 3. Right now, they have been rendered to that of being only a 3-point shooting ball club.
Certainly not going to be able to beat North Carolina taking nothing but threes and having it 1 and out.
Williams scores for the first time tonight. Came in averaging just over 15 points a game, and with exactly 10 minutes remaining on the game, it's 52-26. And a timeout has been called, and that'll be a 20.
Shammond Williams hit that last shot for North Carolina, and he is really, I think, a model player in NCAA basketball. He's really a self-made player. He went to Fork Union Military Academy. He only had 2 scholarship offers, or 2 teams that really came after him. One was North Carolina, the other is Kentucky. And if you've only got 2, those are the 2 that you want coming after you.
Yeah.
But Shammond Williams every night stays after practice, shoots, works on his game. Then he goes home and he takes care of some studies, and late at night he goes back into the Dean Smith Center, gets the maintenance man to let him in, and he shoots all night long. And that young man has made himself into an outstanding basketball player, and last year was really rewarded for it. MVP of the ACC tournament, MVP of the East Regional in the NCAAs.
Cologne rebounding the missed shot, puts it up and in.
Francisco Cologne's had a nice ball game.
13-point night for the native of Puerto Rico, a junior, 6'8". Shammond Williams liked what he saw the last time down the floor, pulls the trigger again, misfires. Westmore rebounds. 9.5 minutes remaining, and the Tar Heels would appear to be on their way to an 8th consecutive win, leading 52-28.
And those 8 wins have not come against cupcakes. They've had a great battle against Purdue. They blew UCLA out by 40 in Alaska, which I thought was just stunning. And then beat Louisville in the Grade 8.
Giant not ready for that pass, tipped away and picked up by Chattanooga. The 2 Carolina teams, of course, change opponents for tomorrow night. South Carolina will play the Moccasins in game 1. North Carolina will get Virginia Tech in game number 2. Harper to a cutting Moore. And the Tar Heel defense continues to be exemplary. Nothing has come easy for the Moccasins. And there's a 3 by Connor. Connor's first field goal from outside the arc to make it 52-31. 8:30 remaining in this game. Shammond Williams works low to Jamison. He turned around and banked it in and picked up or drew the foul in the process.
You know, Marty, what's so impressive about this North Carolina basketball team, here it is, 8 minutes, 30 seconds to go in the ball game. They have a commanding lead, but still they're looking for each other. Nobody's going out on their own trying to pad their stats. They get it into Antoine Jamison because that was the right play to make. And you've got to be impressed with the unselfishness of this team. And after going to the Final Four last year, this team has set a national championship as its goal. And they may very well reach that goal.
He throws in his 21st point of the night to complete the 3-point play. 15,138 here in the Charlotte Coliseum.
Antoine Jamison going over to the bench, getting a well-deserved rest for another great night of work.
Westmore serves it up to Francisco Colon. Now to Chuck Barker. Works it inside to Connor. Hit the 3 a moment ago. Shoots a fadeaway jump shot. No good. Colon keeps it alive. The ball picked up at the sideline or the end line by Ed Cota. Now Jai for 3. He throws up a brick. Frederick with a rebound. Williams on the baseline. The soft one-hander is good.
Boy, what a nice job by Brad Frederick. Not only grabbing that rebound, but he set a terrific screen on Isaac Connor in order to free up Williams along the baseline for that soft shot. Heady play.
57-31 with 7:40 remaining, and substitutions in the offing for the Tar Heels as Wes Moore fires out of the right pocket. And he picks up the basketball, and play is stopped on the foul by Okalaja.
You know, Marty, you mentioned the father of Brad Frederick, who's Bob Frederick, the athletic director at the University of Kansas. And Bob Frederick made one of the great decisions in college basketball when he hired Roy Williams away from North Carolina.
Time out on the floor with 7:33 to go. Tar Heels lead 57-31. We'll be right back to Charlotte in a moment. Taking a look at the Jeep Eagles storyline, Colon has been the man offensively, 13 points, and they've been tough points to come by. And, of course, Vince Carter's had a solid night for the Tar Heels.
And North Carolina with their rebounding. Take a look at this stat. North Carolina with 36 rebounds. They have more rebounds than Chattanooga has points.
Carter, one of 3 Tar Heels in double figures. Okalaja 12, and of course Jamison with a big 21 so far. Juraj Gabaric, young man out of Croatia, in the lineup for the first time tonight for Chattanooga. Connor has his shot rejected, got it back, throws it up and in. It will not count. He was traveling on the play.
Chattanooga has quite a few foreign players on their roster. Gabaric is from Croatia, as you mentioned. Haris Begicevic is from Bosnia, and Colon from Puerto Rico. They're like George Washington South.
Terrence Newby is in the lineup now for the Tar Heels. Shammond Williams checked on the baseline, traveling by Okalaja.
Terrence Newby, number 21, also another outstanding athlete. He was a 3-sport star in high school, an all-state football performer, a pro baseball prospect, but he wants to play basketball at North Carolina.
Whistle stops play as Barker takes it into the paint. And a violation called against the Tar Heels, and this one goes against Brendan Haywood. That'll be his first foul of the night. 5 team fouls against North Carolina. 6:50 remaining, and North Carolina leading 57-31. Connor tries another 3, and Newby climbs a ladder for the rebound, but throws it up the floor into the hands of Connor, and back comes Chattanooga.
Bill Guthridge and his staff not at all happy with that pass from Newby. They have not given up on this game. They coach every minute.
Heads up play by Wes Moore. As they mentioned earlier, he's in it from start to finish. Grabarch pinned to the baseline by Haywood and Frederick, and the ball slapped out of bounds, enabling Chattanooga to make the inbounds pass again. Michael Brooker coming into the Tar Heels lineup, along with freshman Brian Bursticker, the 6'11" youngster out of Virginia Beach, Kempsville High School, replacing Okalaja, and Booker will give Shammond Williams a chance to catch a breath.
Bursticker is a good-looking freshman. He's got good hands, pretty good quickness. He didn't have a great senior year last year, so he came into North Carolina not quite as heralded as some of the other freshmen. He's got long arms, and he's just get into that system, get some playing time.
Good defense by Brooker. He rejected Barker's shot. Chattanooga keeps it. Harper driving on Frederick. Tried to force one inside to Grabarch, and the shot clock sounds, but the Tar Heels make it a moot point. Here's Brooker with a basketball in front of the North Carolina bench. Good pass inside to Haywood, and he's fouled and will go to the line.
A good pass is right. Michael Brooker with a terrific post feed into Brendan Haywood. The nice bounce pass. What was great about that pass is he passed away from the defense, not just to the offense, and he led Haywood into his move. Many people think when you're passing the ball inside, you just want to throw it to the offensive man, but you have to throw it away from the defense as well.
Haywood is 3 for 3 from the foul line.
Brendan Haywood has a 9-foot wingspan.
That'll work.
Makes you a pretty good shot blocker.
Yeah, I'd say so. 58-31 with 5 minutes and 37 seconds to go. It was 34-15 at halftime. North Carolina has added to that lead here in the second. The three on the way. The rebound by Barker. He gets a quick baseline jumper up and in. Chuck Barker has 7 on the night. The transfer from the University of Miami. Brad Frederick gets it inside to Haywood, pinned too far underneath the basket. The freshman thought he was fouled, but no whistle. And here's Chattanooga back with the ball.
North Carolina may be getting a bit of a breather as Haywood blocks a shot there and knocks it out of bounds. Maybe getting a bit of a breather in this ball game, but as soon as ACC competition starts, all those breathers will be gone. Last night, the season opened up, and true to form, 2 overtime games.
Yep.
North Carolina State coming out on top, so did Clemson. You have to marvel with North Carolina State at the job that Herb Sendek has done there.
Indeed. And it's really kind of interesting. In the latest top 25 poll, the ACC tied a record with 7 teams ranked in the top 25. Herb Sendek's team was one of those that wasn't, and they promptly pull off an upset of a ranked ball club last night.
Well, they did something last year, Marty, that I thought was near impossible. They went from the play-in game, the 8 versus 9 game in the ACC tournament, and made it all the way to the final against North Carolina. And they really gave Carolina a great game before falling late in that ball game.
Nice pass by Brooker to the cutting Bursticker. Michael Brooker, known as a shooter, displaying his passing skills here in the last few minutes.
And he's a guy that Bill Guthridge would like to see earn some more playing time in practice to work on that depth, because Bill Guthridge, the one thing I think he worries about more than anything else with his team is an untimely injury.
Here's Cologne backing in on Khan. Haywood no good, and the 2 big freshmen battle for the rebound, and a whistle and a foul. Max Owens, another Tar Heels freshman, getting his first playing time of the night. Young man out of Mount Zion Academy in Durham. He replaces Brad Frederick. So the Tar Heels have actually 3 true freshmen and 1 redshirt freshman in their lineup at the moment. Haywood and Owens and Burstick are true freshmen. Brooker a redshirt freshman, and Terrence Newby a sophomore.
Max Owens, you mentioned, played at Mount Zion. One of his teammates there was Tracy McGrady, one of the youngsters who jumped from high school directly into the NBA. He's now with the Toronto Raptors. The other one to do that recently was Kobe Bryant and Jermaine O'Neal.
60-33, Tar Heels in front. Under 4 minutes remaining in the ball game. The long jumper no good. The rebound controlled by Connor of Chattanooga. The baseline jumper up. Loose underneath. Moore throws it up. No good. And Max Owens comes out with a basketball for the Tar Heels. Stepped on the sideline to Booker, and the ball goes back to Chattanooga, and we've got a timeout on the floor. We'll be back with more of the Harris Teeter Pepsi Challenge right after this message from Pepsi. Game 1 of this doubleheader went to the wire, won by a point. South Carolina over Virginia Tech. This one has not been of the same ilk. 60-33 Tar Heels with 3:27 to go. Brian Kersey holding the ball, waiting for the Mocs to come to him. They'll inbounds. Lincoln Walters, Isaac Kana, Idris Harper. Gabarich also in the lineup for the Chattanooga Mocs. Walters breaks the dribble off and plays it outside. Connor looking and off the ball. A violation spotted by official Vinnie Allen. This goes against Chattanooga. Been a rough night for that man over there on the Moccasin bench.
Well, it looks like he's kept his sense of humor through it. And he knows that this is a game that was difficult to win, but it was one that his team would certainly benefit from and learn what it takes to play with the very best in the country.
Max Owens will get one more, the freshman out of Macon, Georgia.
When you think about it, Marty, there are really only a handful of teams that are going to contend for the national championship this year. North Carolina, certainly at this stage, I would say Kansas is right up there with them. Duke, Kentucky, and Arizona. I think everybody else just really a rung down on the ladder, and certainly that could change as the season progresses.
I disagree with you on Kentucky. I don't think Kentucky's nearly as good. They have no go-to guy. I've seen them a number of times living in Cincinnati, and they've got a good basketball team, but I don't think they're capable of going to the Final Four.
I think they can get there. I saw them play the other night against Purdue, and they just dismantled.
Yes, they did. I agree with that, which really surprised me because I thought Purdue would beat them.
And I think they're getting better. I think Tubby Smith is working on that team. They've had one bad outing, or at least one where they didn't perform as well as they would have liked, and that was against Arizona. But that was a game in which Wayne Turner didn't score.
Right.
And he has really stepped up his game, and Nazi Muhammad is playing well. They're a team that I think will get there. I think they're up there. They're at the bottom of the list of teams we just talked about that I think are in the national championship run. Right now, Kansas looks as good as anybody.
Yep. That's a 2 by Harper.
The Chattanooga coaches are very high on Idris Harper. They think that he can be among the best players that have ever suited up at Chattanooga. That's really saying something. They've got a couple players in the NBA right now. One is Johnny Taylor. The other is Gerald Wilkins.
Lay-in by Haywood. Yeah, Gerald Wilkins has been around a while, too. People overlook the fact that he went to Chattanooga in light of the great success the team had last year. But he has had a great NBA career.
And Chattanooga lost so much last year. They lost, of course, Johnny Taylor, the first-round draft pick of the Orlando Magic. They lost another player named Chris Mims, an outstanding inside player, averaged over 10 points a game. They lost Marquise Collier and another player who is an outstanding athlete named Willie Young. So 4 starters left this Chattanooga team, depleting them of some 50 points or more and 25-30 rebounds. So it was not an insignificant loss to lose 4 starters of that magnitude.
A rare occurrence. A trip to the line for the Mocs. They are 2 for 5 from the foul line this entire ball game. Connor misses the first and hits the second. Bill Guthridge has effectively cleared his bench now with the appearance in the lineup of Scott Williams, a junior out of Lawrence, Kansas. Of course, the son of Jayhawks head coach Roy Williams. Haywood plays to Max Owens behind the screen and off the baseline, and he drains the 3.
Good-looking athlete is Max Owens. Got a nice touch from the perimeter, and he just demonstrated that to everybody watching.
Here's Begisevic. In trouble, gets the ball off to Chuck Barker kick it back to Connor, who's not been shy here in the second half. The ball loose, and the ball picked up by Lincoln Walters, who drives and tries to dish it off, only to have it deflected out of bounds by Bursticker. 31 on the shot clock, 1:08 remaining in the game.
You know, Roy Williams has to be proud that his son Scott is suited up for his alma mater, North Carolina. He was in the stands at the grade 8 the other night when North Carolina played Louisville, his team having beaten Arizona the night before.
Barker knocks down the jump shot. 66-38, 50 seconds, 49, 48 seconds to go in the game. Max Owens to Bursticker, inside Haywood, lay it up and in.
There's the unselfishness again. Bursticker had a shot at the free throw line. Nobody would have faulted him for taking it. He was open, but he saw his teammate Brendan Haywood underneath and unselfishly gave it up.
Lead goes back to 30 for the Tar Heels at 68-38. Rejected, out of bounds, and North Carolina will take it the other way.
Bursticker got the block, then he got the save. He kept Isaac Connor from hitting the deck. A dominating performance by North Carolina.
12 seconds to go. Scott Williams into Bursticker for the turnaround jump hook. Haywood got a hand on it, but Chattanooga comes out with it. Barker takes it toward the basket. He goes up top. The shot doesn't go. The shot rejected by Bursticker, and that's it. As expected, the North Carolina Tar Heels, as Bill Guthridge heads down to exchange handshakes with Henry Dickerson and the rest of the Chattanooga coaching staff, rolls in big-time fashion. A 30-point Tar Heel win, 68-38. We'll be back to Charlotte right after this.
Jeep